Dwayne, the contentious issue has been that pipeline. Premier Daniel Smith says Alberta really needs to get its bitumen to the Asia markets through northern British Columbia, but a lot has to happen in order for that to take place. But if it does materialize, will that maybe quiet the voices of those here in Alberta who want to separate?
Oh, I think so. I think Thursday will be a big win for Daniel Smith and those that are advocating for separatism. There's a core group, and it doesn't matter what you do, they want to separate. But the ability to sway another 10, 20, 30%, they needed the pipeline to fail. They needed a crisis, and they needed a lot of anger, and it looks like that's dissipating. This explains why Jeff Rath, one of the independence leaders, is so mad at the MOU and dismissing it by saying, well, it's not an operational pipeline. That's true. It's not an operational pipeline, but you can't get to that unless you take this step.
Now, many would argue that the federal government has not really supported our energy sector over the past decade. But that's not the only reason the separatist movement has grown in our province, Dwayne. I mean, many are still angry at the billions upon billions of dollars in transfer payments, which leave Alberta and which rarely makes its way back here. Could that maybe be adding fuel to the fire?
That has always been made the case, but Alberta doesn't pay transfer payments. Albertans pay transfer payments. And the reason that we pay more per capita is because Alberta has been the richest province for decades. So it'd be like saying, well, millionaires pay more taxes than other people. Yes, because they're richer and wealthier. And that's the way I view transfer payments. The Confederation is more than just dollars in and dollars out.
Now, it appears as though Prime Minister Mark Carney is making much better inroads with the Alberta government than his predecessor to Justin Trudeau. Will that really help create more stability for Carney's minority government moving forward?
I don't think it affects the minority government because another person who's going to be unhappy with this is Pierre Poilievre. So you need to separate federal politics from federal provincial relations. Usually a brand new prime minister has a bit of a honeymoon with the premiers. So when people said, well, Justin Trudeau did not get along with the premiers, he didn't, except he did in 2015 and 2016. Stephen Harper had trouble with premiers in 2015, but he had good relations in 2006. So we're still in the honeymoon period with Mark Carney. And I think it's a huge win for Danielle Smith, this MOU, but it's also a win for Mark Carney. And I can tell you, I was at a Premier's Dinner event last night in Edmonton on tourism. So not about oil and gas, totally different sector. Danielle Smith couldn't say more than nice things about Mark Carney. And in fact, she has been doing that for months on end. That tells you how well she thinks progress is going on this.
Okay, so if there's that strong relationship between the federal and provincial government right now, where will that leave Pierre Poilievre and the Tories?
In a very difficult spot. There's been various times he's been offside of Smith because they have very different agendas. He can't work with Carney the way Danielle Smith can. He was much happier when they were opponents. And by the way, if Pierre Poilievre had become prime minister, there would have been eventual tensions between Poilievre and Smith, just as there were tensions between Harper and Prentice and Harper and Notley. It's just, that's the way politics works.
What makes you say that, though? I mean, they're both conservatives. Couldn't they find...
It doesn't matter that they're conservatives. It's like saying John Horgan, the BC premier, would get along well with Rachel Notley because they were both NDPers, or Christy Clark in the sort of non-socialist government of BC did not get along with Alison Redford. It depends on your jurisdiction much more than your party affiliation.
MRU, political science professor Dwayne Brett, thanks so much for your time today.
You're welcome, Hal.